Obviously, there are some subtle differences in terms of Copilot, the full app, and Copilot chat. And it'd be good for us to just talk about, what are the 5 myths around Copilot chat that perhaps is a bit of myth busting for those that are thinking, is this going to be any good? What's your view? Let's get us started.
So I think one of the biggest myths to start off with is that using Copilot isn't going to help me.
Yeah.
And it's a resistance to change more than anything else, because using AI it's almost expected now in terms of the way that we work. I was presenting to a marketing conference at the University of Wolverhampton about 2 months ago, and I was up there with a number of academics who were talking about how they shouldn't be using AI, that it can't be there to replace their experiences and their creativity, which is absolutely true. But the slant that I bought is a real world slant, which is actually you are expected to be using it, and it is going to be part and parcel of our job roles to utilize it, where we are expected to do more quickly, but we don't have any more time to do what we need to do.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to embrace these tools.
And I think Copilot is a great tool if it's properly understood to enable people to get the full value out of it. And obviously, I think, Teams is widespread now. I recall the pandemic when Zoom and Teams, and then overnight, Teams has become pretty much the default collaboration tool. And obviously, the capability within Teams continues to grow. And obviously, now AI is being built in, whether it's transcription, summarizing actions. Yeah. I think anyone that uses Teams now, the default is, I'm going to go on a Teams conversation, right, I'm going to transcribe. Obviously, that in its very nature is starting to use some of those AI tools that obviously help us in just being more productive in our day-to-day lives. And certainly, one of the things people often say to myself is, is Copilot natural language from a Teams perspective? And clearly it is. It's, to your point, it's ChatGPT under the hood.
Yeah.
So it gives you all of that same capability.
One of the big myths, especially as you move away from the free into the world of the internal and premium versions of Copilot, is that you just switch it on and it works.
Yeah.
And I know that Intercity do a lot of work around the readiness assessments and helping organisations to understand what they need to do. It's not just flicking a switch.
Yeah.
There is work that has to be done in the first place. So I think there's a key understanding that there is an organisational readiness.
Yeah.
Being in the cloud and having the content and the files in the cloud is one part. And I think the other part, which you've touched on a couple of times now, is around the security aspect and the sensitivity.
One of the challenges, I was talking to a CIO of an organisation recently that's deployed Copilot, and the first thing he'd done is gone into Copilot and queried, what's the CEO's diary, who is he meeting? And because the permissions and controls hadn't been set up, Copilot obviously only respects controls and permissions that it knows, and obviously it returns some information. And that, I think, was a sort of a light bulb moment, to your point of, we need to have data, it needs to be properly classified, permissions and controls. Obviously, Copilot's excellent because if those things are in place, it will obviously respect those.